Okay, so I have an old driveway gate controller or actuator. So I've got a motor, gearbox, and we have another step down gear and a nice square shaft. What can we make with this? Well, I'm kind of thinking a hog spit. We just do away with all of this and just mount this part on a base so that it can sit beside the fire, and then we can drive. This will be traveling really slowly, so we can put the spit, connect the spit to that. Then we only need to have two tripods to stand the spit on. Okay, well, I think this is doable. Interesting. Okay, let's start. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get rid of this the electronics controller, because I don't think I'm going to use that. So let's just pop the bits here. This is a limit switches. Well, we're not going to be using limit switches. It's just going to run one way all the time. Get rid of those. And it's a buzzer. I'm not going to use a buzzer. This thing is incredibly heavy. I'm going to have to lighten it up. And I've got to work out which way up we're going to mount it. That's tight. And get rid of this tray, and then if I cut these welds off here, I can get rid of this bit. This bit's really heavy. So I really would just want to be left with a on-off, and this base tray. This can come off. Yeah, we can slim it down quite a bit. Excellent. Okay, so this thing is cadmium plated. Now I once did a little bit of welding on a very tiny piece of cadmium plated metal. I got acute cadmium poisoning, and I was really fortunate that my doctor had done his doctorate thesis on cadmium poisoning, and he knew exactly how to treat me. But I was sick, really sick, for 2 weeks, and I was not able to go to work for 2 weeks. So don't mess with this stuff. I'm going to be wearing this. It's a full biological mask. It's not just a dust mask. It's an actual biological filter. I'm going to have these doors open, and I've got some big fans, and I'm going to be blowing fans to blow as I cut these off. the heat will create some cadmium fumes, so I'm not going to mess about with this. I'm not going to be sick like that again. So I'm going to cut these off both sides and then see where we are. Probably leave this on. That's a nice way to plug it in and switch it on and off. I'm not sure about these because it's still pretty heavy. So I guess we've got a big old pig on there. You don't want the pig to be able to turn this thing over, so I suppose we want some sort of weight on this. Yeah, it's a shame these aren't bent both the same way. It would make putting the legs on a lot easier. Okay, but now I've just got to decide what height I want it and what I'm going to build the legs out of. Okay, coming along. Okay, so I have simplified the wiring. I've just come straight in the back of the power supply box, which I've moved from the other side to this side. There's our phase split capacitor. So now plug it into a single phase supply. I've utilised the old on-off switch, on, off. Nice and simple. So now the next thing is to mount the legs on this. I've got to work out what height I want this to be above the fire, and then I've got to make the two tripods either side of the main shaft. Also, I've got to determine the length of the main shaft, as I would like the tripods to be outside of our firing. So work in progress. Okay, this is not an ideal shape. I don't like this bit, so I'm going to just whack it off here. Dropping it on the floor. Yeah, I think I'll just cut it there. This is 1/4 inch thick. Again, it's cadmium plated, so I've got to be careful. I was going to grind it, but I decided that was way too much work. I'm going to put my mask on. Turn it on. That was easy. Didn't cut as clean as normal. Maybe I didn't have the pressure up properly. Normally it cuts a really nice clean cut. Oh, that's good enough for me. I am very fortunate that every time someone has got some scrap metal or scrap machines or bits and pieces, they always offer them to me. Do I want them? So this was out of an old packing crate, metal packing crate for some machinery that I was given. So they're gonna I'm gonna make those into my legs. So I'm just gonna weld that on there. Now, bearing in mind that there is cadmium involved, so I'm gonna put my mask on. Tack here. I do love MIG welders, they're great. Okay, pretty good. Put over. Okay. There's the other one on the other side. Well, amazing. It started to rain. We haven't had rain here for about 9 weeks. It's been over 100 every day, and it's raining. Excellent. Okay. So far so good. Turn it on. Okay, so here are the two main shaft bearings with the bushings. The bushings. So I went to get some 2-inch alloy rod, and I only wanted 6 inches of it, and they wanted $180 for 6 inches of alloy rod, and I thought I've never paid that much for alloy rod ever. So I'll shoot some pictures of on here of what I did. So this actually is not, you can see it's a little porous, it's not exactly perfect. I had some old alley castings and I melted them down, and I had a bit of Delrin rod and I shoved that in some sand, and I cast my own block of alloy rod. I mean, it's cast, so it's not extruded, but for this it's fine. As you can see, I mean, you can see this, the odd little air bubble in it. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's perfect for what I want. And when I swaged it, it cracked because of course it's cast and I shouldn't have done that, but so be it. So the next thing I've got to do is be able to mount this so that you drop it on top of the tripods that hold the main shaft. So I have got some tread plate that I've flame cut off of a sheet, and I've just bent it up, and I've got 2 of those of course, and then I've got a bit of square, and what I'm going to do is weld that on there and then clamp that in there with a bolt, and this will then just drop into a square receiver on the top of the tripod, so you can get your you can get the main rod, and at any time you can just lift it off the fire once you've decoupled it from the drive unit. So this is the latest. I went backwards and forwards with lots of different things, and this is what I ended up with. So I've got to curve that slightly so it receives that a little bit better, and this is a little bit wider than this, but it's a pig spit, so yeah, I'm not that bothered. This is a little bit of scrap square tube I've got, which just happens to fit a bit of square tube that I've got for it to go into as a receiver. So this is where we are, and what I'll do next, we'll weld this on here. So actually, as it happens, let's just weld this in here, but because it's hollow tube, that just sits in there perfectly like that. So I'm just going to weld that across here and down the sides, just MIG it in there, and it'll be perfect. I don't have to alter the angle of the tube at all, so even better. So this is my universal coupling that I'm going to use between the drive unit and the main shaft. 3/4 square I ordered, and as you can see, that is not 3/4 square, it's 3/4 rod with 2 flats on it. So not exactly what I ordered. So I'm going to have to turn the shaft down, and then the drive shaft, and then put a couple of flats on it. That's a pain, but hey, not too bad. Okay, so turned the shaft down to the right diameter, and I've just milled the flats on. So that drops on there nicely. So now what I've got to do is I'm just going to drill holes through there so that I can lock it on with a screw. So I just need to gauge that up and then drill the hole. Okay, that's the next bit. Okay, not bad. Okay, that should line up perfectly. Excellent. Okay. The adjustable legs I'm going to make out of some of these coach bolts that I managed to get hold of. It was cheaper than buying studding, so I'm just going to whack the head off and put a point on it. So, there you go. Could have just lopped it off with a cutter and ground the point on, but I fancied using the lathe today. So there we go, that should do it. We're going to weld some nuts in the ends of the legs. I want the legs to be adjustable, but I don't want them to and stick in the ground a little bit. I don't want them to just disappear in the ground, so I've put a spreader washer on and some nuts. So hopefully that will make the legs adjustable, but it'll stop them from just completely digging in. That's going to work pretty well. Okay, 4 of those coming along. Okay, legs for the tripod. It that sort of angle, without there. Okay, and the other side. Oh no, I'll just make them both the same. I'll pattern that one onto the other way. Otherwise I'm going to make them different lengths. Okay, and let's just cut that then. Okay. rid of those, right? Next. Make sure the legs are square. Square. Welder. Beauty of a metal table, you earth the table, you never have to earth your bits because they're touching the table. Makes life a lot easier. That's pretty good. Okay. Right. I'll put a bend in that so that those legs are angled back a little bit. Now what I was going to do is just get a third leg and just weld it in there. But I've got to think about storing this thing and moving it around. So I wanted to make that leg removable. And as it happens, I've got this old scrap which happens to just fit in that perfectly. A little bit of luck. So what I'm thinking is cutting this at an angle so that fits in there. Weld that onto there. So then the other leg can just drop in and then get pinned to stop it falling out. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut a short length. I'll cut this in half probably. This will probably do both of them. And then go through, and then I'll have some sort of pin mechanism to lock it, or a bolt. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And it's probably going to be about that sort of angle, because that height is going to be about right for that. And everything's going to have adjustable legs anyway. So, and this is going to be 8 foot away, so a little bit of X out will be fine. Okay, so I've just had to cut that a little bit like that because of the two different heights here. So it's going to go on there. Get on there, upright. Okay, make sure it's upright. Kind of all right. It's not coming off. some lube on it. Realising I should have mounted this in my square block. Too late now. Or is it? Yeah, let's do that. Hold on. Okay, so by mounting it in the square collet holder, I can now just flip it over and mill the other flat, and I know each side is going to be absolute parallel with each other. But I'm going to get an error to start with here because I've taken it out and moved it. So what I'm going to have to do is measure it, take a bit off and then measure it, and then work out how much I need to take off, and then readjust it again. So I think we'll be okay still. Okay. A little bit more to jump off. I recently discovered these spray nozzles for this, far better than the old squirt nozzle I had before. Let's try it, measure that. Actually got to top it up. Okay. That's pretty much about right, actually. Okay, we're going to leave it at that, and then we'll flip it over. Okay, so I've got it turned over. Put some coolant. Fire it up. A leak. Okay, so I'm looking for 70,000. Let's give it. I'm going to just bringing the bed up a few thou every swipe. Close with that. Close enough. I always turn the cutter off. Don't want to get my hands anywhere near that. Did that once, not going to do it again. This is a little. That should be it. There it goes. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, now I need it to go in a bit deeper, so what I'm going to do, I zeroed the y-axis, so now we just got to run it that way and zero that off. My cutter wasn't wide enough to do it all in one strike. Too much. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is dial that hole up and punch a hole through there so that I can put a pin through it, because this is going to be the quick disconnect end. So, and then we're going to weld that in the end of the main tube. Right. Okay, so here's the fitting in the end of the shaft. Focus on it. There you go. So all I've got to do now is just weld that in there. I've mounted it in the bearing so I can rotate it while I weld it. Welding rotators are always handy to have. Okay, so just put a little weld on there. That'd be good. So I didn't want to go over complicated with the meat holders. They're just a bit of tubing, bit of rebar, sharpened, threaded. You can slide them up and down. Not too complicated with that. So here's, I realised that there was enough slop in this joint that I didn't have to put this on a ball joint or anything, so I just welded it to the top. And the slop in here is enough to take up any misalignment, which was what I was worried about. You don't have to align it up very much, but that universal joint takes out a lot of errors. So if I turn it on, pretty quiet, very quiet, and perfect. All I need now is a campfire and a pig. So this is it, finished pretty much. Hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. This has been quite a nice project to do. There's been a lot of different tools used, and that's just about the right speed as well. Just lovely, perfect. And all you need to do to when the pig's done is slacken these two grub screws here, these two screws here, remove the pin from here. This rod will slide that way. It's only got to slide 3/4 of an inch and it comes off of here, and then all of this just lifts off. So two people, one at either end, and lift the pig off and go and carve it up. Perfect. Great. Thanks a lot. See you next one. Bye. Okay, so one of my bigger projects, really pleased with it. Once I managed to get a few guys together and we managed to get, bag a pig, and we'll do the cooking. I'm going to do a complete video on the cooking of the pig with this, so I'm looking forward to that. At the moment there's a full-on burn ban down at our lease, so no campfires. So it's going to be a month or so before I can get that together. I'm not a professional welder. I learnt welding when I was in my teens. I had a really rusty MGB, British sports car. My friend had a really rusty Mini Cooper, and my wife had a really rusty Mini 850. So necessity was I learnt to weld somewhat. I'm not a professional. Biggest advancement I've had this year with my welding was I bought a new welder, which I did an unboxing on. I'm really pleased with it. Just the best welder I've ever used, honestly. The other thing I would advise with people, I mean, as you get to my age, you can't see very well. You know, I wear contact lenses and I do the monocular vision, so I have a reader and a distance contact. But when I get in there close and everything's dark, you can't really see very well. So my advice is lots of light. I've got these big LED spotlights, so when the spark light when the spark's cast and your hood shuts down, you've got a lot of other ambient light there, so you can see what you're doing. Because what biggest problem I had was I'd start welding and the visor would go dark, and then I couldn't see what I was doing. All I could see was where the spark was. So by lots of ambient light, now I'm able to see what I'm doing. I also bought a new weld helmet. Yes, Welder. I'm not a sponsor of, I mean, they don't sponsor me. I don't have any sponsors. I found this one very good. It was very reasonable. And the other thing is, I don't know if you see that, you can put cheaters in there. So that's this is a cheater lens that slides in. So once I pull it, but also it doesn't cover, there's a little bit at the top, so you can look over the cheaters if you need to see without it being magnified. So that I found really, really handy. Some poor young guy will pick this up and won't be able to see jack shit, but for me it works really well. So that's a good one. Other than that, I just do what I do, and I'm really looking forward to doing the pig cooking video. So if anyone knows any good tips on how to cook a pig over an open fire, put them in the comments and I will read them. I do read all the comments and I answer all the comments, so I don't get many. So thanks for watching. You have a good day. Bye.